As the NBA trade deadline approaches, teams will be looking for ways to quickly get better for a postseason run. In today's video, I show you 10 trades that would shake up the NBA if they go through. Donovan Mitchell to the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. However, there is a key issue with this team. The lack of superstar talent on this team is a problem. Sure, the Knicks have a deep roster, but whenever they play another Eastern Conference contender, they will never have the best player on the floor. Bronson is good, don't get me wrong, but he's not better than Giannis, Tatum, or even Jimmy Butler. If you bring in Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers, you can at least rival that kind of talent, while Bronson and Mitchell will give each other more space to work. For this trade to work, Donovan Mitchell goes to the Knicks for RJ Barrett, Grimes, and Miles McBride. Sure, you lose a lot of depth, but if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm much more confident about this team going forward versus without Donovan Mitchell. Now, yes, this trade would set the Cavaliers back a few seasons, but that's totally fine as Darius, Garland, and Evan Mobley aren't on that level yet where they would be title contenders even if they were healthy. If the Knicks managed to pull off this thing, they would now be legitimate contenders to make it out of the Eastern Conference. However, there is another option for Donovan Mitchell, which we'll get to later in the video. Clint Capela to the Oklahoma City Thunder. If the Atlanta Hawks are selling at the trade deadline, which they should be, Clint Capela would be a piece that they would be looking to move, as Atlanta's young center Onyeka Okongwu would receive more minutes, and Capela would help the Thunder with his rebounding and defense. Chet Holmgren can space the floor for the Thunder, which is why this trade makes sense. In a deal, OKC would send Kenrich Williams, Pokusevski, Ousmane Dieng, and a first-round pick. At the current time in the career of Chet Holmgren, he's not yet strong enough to battle bruiser-style centers in the NBA, such as Jonas Valanciunas, Joel Embiid, or a Brook Lopez. Clint Capela brings the size, toughness, and rebounding ability that Chet lacks at this current point. Holmgren only averages 8 rebounds a game compared to the 10.5 rebounds a game that Capela averages. Also, something to keep in mind is how Capela has seen less minutes this season due to the breakout of Onyeka Okongwu. The pairing between Shea and Capela would be similar to the pairing of James Harden and Clint Capela in the Houston Rockets days. A starting five of Shea, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren, and Clint Capela would make this team even more of a Western Conference contender. Alex Caruso to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks' perimeter defense this season has been nowhere near as good since the departure of Drew Holiday. Alex Caruso has been superb for Chicago this season, averaging a steal and a block a game while shooting 47% from deep. With the improved shooting numbers, Caruso would pair perfectly with Giannis, spacing the floor and guarding the best offensive players every night. In a deal, Milwaukee would have to part ways with fan favorite Bobby Portis and their last first-round pick. For me personally, yes, the starting lineup for the Bucks becomes one of the best in the NBA, but the bench depth will be challenged. As of right now, the Boston Celtics sit atop of the Eastern Conference with the best starting five in the league, but they don't have much in the way of depth. If the Bucks want to do the same thing and they believe in the remaining bench players that they have, this deal is a no-brainer. But if not, Milwaukee is better off keeping Portis. Either way, the Bucks will be title contenders come postseason. Christian Wood to the Golden State Warriors. In the games without Draymond Green in the lineup, it's been clear that the lack of size is a real problem for this Golden State Warriors team. With the resurgence of the double big man lineup, such as the Celtics' Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis front court, and the Bucks with their Giannis Lopez lineup, this is where Christian Wood comes in. As with the Lakers, he hasn't seen much playing time, but when he's in form, he can space the floor, grab rebounds, and play dependable defense. However, being in the same conference as the Warriors, the Lakers may not look to do this trade, as if the Warriors improve dramatically, the Lakers just create more problems for themselves in a postseason run. Lucky for the Warriors, it's a perfect trade that would not only bring in a big man shooter, but a generational defender and scorer later on in this video. OG Anobi to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers' lack of perimeter scoring has hurt them at times throughout the season, which is why OG Anobi could solve a lot of problems. In a deal with the Toronto Raptors, the Lakers would send away Rui Hachimura and a first-round pick for OG. Meanwhile, with a near 39-year-old LeBron James, the Lakers are most definitely in win-now mode. OG Anobi has championship experience with the 2019 Toronto Raptors and is one of the best defensive guards in the game today. Imagine a starting five of D'Angelo Russell, Taurean Prince, OG Anunoby, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. The size, length, and strength of this unit would be incredibly difficult for teams to deal with. With Reddish, Reeves, and Vanderbilt coming off the bench, this Lakers team would still be deep. But the key difference is now the starting five is significantly better on both sides of the ball. This trade would make the Lakers no doubt the best team in the Western Conference. However, the Raptors have asked for Austin Reeves to be included in the deal. For me personally, if I'm the Lakers, I still do this trade as Austin Reeves has been good, but he's already 25 years old, as I'm not convinced he's going to get much better than this. I would capitalize on his trade value and go out and get yourselves a bona fide star to help LeBron James win his 5th title. Donovan Mitchell to the Miami Heat. For the situation Cleveland is in, there's another option to offload Donovan Mitchell. The Miami Heat could use the three-point shooting and overall scoring ability of Mitchell, as a big three of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Donovan Mitchell could elevate them back into contention. The Miami Heat fell short on a Damian Lillard trade in the offseason prior, as this deal would be on their radar. In a trade, Miami received Donovan Mitchell and the sharpshooter Sam Merrill in return for Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Nikola Jovic, a 2029 and 2027 first-round picks. The starting five would now look like Kyle Lowry, Donovan Mitchell, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, and Bam Bam Adebayo. With this lineup, they would likely be able to have a top 10 defense and offense, putting them on the same level as Boston and Milwaukee. Both Butler and Mitchell have proven to be able to play well off the ball, making these two work well together. While the two-man game between Mitchell and Adebayo would be brilliant to watch. With a great offensive talent in Donovan Mitchell and the generational defense in Butler and Adebayo, this Heat team would certainly be title contenders if this trade goes through. Zack, LaVine and Alex Caruso to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers need consistent perimeter scoring to pair with LeBron and Anthony Davis. This trade would see Zack, LaVine team up with LeBron and AD to form a new big three in the Western Conference. To get a deal done, Chicago wants Austin Reeves to be involved, which is the only reason the Lakers haven't made a deal yet. If the Lakers decide to part ways with Reeves, the trade would look like Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a 2029 first-round pick for Zack, LaVine and Alex Caruso. The Bulls get their wish obtaining Reeves, while the Lakers would get the perimeter scoring and shot making of Zack, LaVine, while also bringing back the fan favorite Alex Caruso from the championship season. Caruso shooting a career high on three-point shots this season, while proving to be a top 3 defensive guard in the NBA today. Although LaVine is having a down year scoring-wise, this can be attributed to the lack of energy he has left for the Chicago organization, as he's been involved in trade discussions quite frequently at this point. The starting lineup of Gabe Vincent, Zack, LaVine, Taurean Prince, LeBron and AD with Caruso as the 6th man might just be one of the best lineups in the NBA right now. With LaVine, the Lakers find themselves in the minds of many NBA title favorites. OG Anobi to the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have been struggling so far this season, so we expect to see them make a splash at the trade deadline. Since the loss of Draymond Green, the lack of size has been a problem for the team, as in a trade with the Toronto Raptors, Golden State would receive OG Anobi and Otto Porter in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, a 2026 first rounder and a 2028 first round pick. The most underrated part of this deal for Golden State is bringing back the 2022 champion Otto Porter Jr., who was a huge reason to why Golden State won the title that season, as he started throughout the NBA Finals and was able to space the floor with his three-point shooting. Of course though, the main piece of the trade is OG Anunoby, who's a lockdown defender who can also space the floor, connecting consistently on three-point looks, something that Andrew Wiggins can't do for this team right now. Golden State would receive a huge upgrade at the wing position, making them possible title contenders once again, as the new starting lineup with Draymond Green back would be Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, OG Anunoby, Draymond Green and Kevon Looney. If Draymond is to miss a considerable amount of time, then Otto Porter would start at the 4, making this team a formidable opponent. The obvious downside about this trade is giving away 2 first-round picks and dealing the up-and-coming Moses Moody. But when you have Stephen Curry on your roster, you have to be in a win-now mindset. Keeping Jonathan Kuminga is a huge reason this trade is so good for Golden State, but it's likely that Toronto would maybe want to renegotiate and try to include him in the conversation. We have one more trade idea for Golden State later on this video, and I think this is the best one yet. Anthony Simons to the Orlando Magic. With the hot start to the season, the Orlando Magic have made a huge leap in the development of their team. Now in a win-now mode, this team needs to make a huge upgrade at either the guard or center positions. This trade would see Portland go all in on a Scoot Henderson rebuild, sending Anthony Simons to Orlando for Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, and 2 first-round picks. The outlook is simple for the Magic. Get a guy in Simons who's averaging 26 points a game this season, who can also run your offense at a high level, dishing out 5 assists per game. A big three of Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Anthony Simons could make them a tough team to face come playoff time for any team in the Eastern Conference. However, Portland only makes this trade if Henderson begins to play Rookie of the Year level ball, which at this point in time he just isn't doing, so this trade is unlikely, but it's a fun one to envision. Lauri Markkanen to the Golden State Warriors. The final trade in today's video might be the best one yet. With the lack of size on the Golden State Warriors, the 7-foot sniper Lauri Markkanen would be a perfect fit. Golden State would send Jonathan Kuminga, Corey Joseph, and Gary Payton in exchange for Markkanen. The front court of Green, Markkanen, and Looney would be a dominant force, as the size issues would not be a concern anymore. With Chris Paul still coming off the bench, this team suddenly is brought back into title contention. Now yes, trading away a player with as much potential as Kuminga would be a tough pill to swallow, but this team would most definitely be better off after this trade. For Kuminga, he gets to start every game and have the ball in his hands with the Utah Jazz, and for the Golden State Warriors, they get a big man who can space the floor, and with Curry being 35 years old, the championship window would open once again. Which trade from this video do you believe is most likely to take place, and which deal do you think would have the most impact on the league? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below.